So far, we've looked at contraception and abortion. Now, we turn to another modern frontier, assisted reproductive technologies, or ARTs. These include techniques like in vitro fertilization, sperm and egg donation, surrogacy, cryopreservation, and fertility drugs. For couples who struggle with infertility, ARTs can be a blessing. But for religions, these technologies raise profound questions. Is it right to create life in a lab? What does it mean to separate reproduction from sexual intimacy? And how do these methods affect family, kinship, and morality? Let's see how the world's religions respond. Christianity. In Christianity, responses to ART are divided. The Catholic Church has been the most critical. Documents like Donum Vitae 1987 and Dignitas Personae 2008 argue that procreation should only occur through the natural marital act. The concern is that ART separates sex from reproduction, treats embryos as objects, and risks creating and discarding excess embryos. The Catholic Church does allow certain medical treatments to restore fertility, but opposes methods like in vitro fertilization, surrogacy, and third-party donation. The Orthodox Church holds similar reservations, though some Orthodox theologians have cautiously accepted IVF if the sperm and egg come from the married couple and no embryos are discarded. Protestant churches are more diverse. Many mainline denominations welcome ARTs as gifts of science that help couples fulfill their desire for children. More conservative groups, especially evangelicals, raise concerns about playing God and the destruction of embryos. So within Christianity, the debate centers on whether ART honors or undermines the sanctity of marriage and life. Judaism generally embraces art, rooted in the commandment to be fruitful and multiply. Orthodox Judaism often permits IVF and fertility treatments, especially when they use the couple's own genetic material. But it raises concerns about third-party donors or surrogacy because they complicate issues of lineage and inheritance. Conservative and Reform Judaism are more open to these practices, including egg and sperm donation, and sometimes even surrogacy. However, across all Jewish traditions, there is caution about the disposal of embryos. Since embryos represent potential life, discarding them raises ethical questions. Jewish authorities also recognize the suffering of infertility, and many rabbis see alleviating that suffering as a moral obligation. So in general, Judaism encourages ART, but within boundaries set by halakha, Jewish law. Islam. In Islam, ART is evaluated by two key principles: respect for lineage, or nasab, the sanctity of the marital bond. IVF is widely permitted, but only if the sperm and egg come from the married couple and the embryo is implanted in the wife. This preserves the family line. Third-party involvement, such as donor sperm, donor eggs, or surrogacy, is forbidden because it introduces confusion into lineage and inheritance. Children must come from the marriage contract, not from outsiders. Some Shia scholars are more flexible, allowing certain forms of egg donation, but most Sunni scholars forbid it. Islamic authorities emphasize that RT should be used responsibly, with modesty, and without violating marriage or family integrity. Hinduism is generally supportive of RT. Infertility is seen as suffering, and alleviating suffering aligns with Dharma. Building strong families is central to Hindu values, so technologies that enable childbearing are often welcomed. IVF and fertility treatments are widely accepted in Hindu society. Surrogacy has also been practiced in India, sometimes even as a commercial industry. While many Hindus accept it as an act of service, there is growing concern about the exploitation of poor women as surrogates. The biggest concern in Hindu ethics is the fate of unused embryos, since destroying embryos can carry karmic consequences. But overall, Hinduism tends to see ART as consistent with the goals of family life and social harmony. Buddhism. Finally, Buddhism. Buddhism evaluates RT the same way it evaluates other ethical issues, through intention and compassion. Infertility is a form of suffering, so if RT is used with mindful compassion to relieve that suffering, it is acceptable. However, Buddhism does teach that life begins at conception. This means the disposal of embryos is problematic since it causes harm and negative karma. In practice, most Buddhist societies, such as Thailand, Japan, and Sri Lanka, support ART as part of medical progress and public health. Buddhist teachers, including the Dalai Lama, have affirmed that ART can be moral if guided by compassion and responsibility. Conclusion. So, what have we seen? Catholic Christianity largely opposes ART, seeing it as contrary to the natural order. Orthodox Christianity shows caution, while Protestants are more open. Judaism supports ART as a fulfillment of the command to procreate, though lineage and embryo disposal raise concerns. Islam permits ART between spouses, but forbids donor material and surrogacy. Hinduism accepts ART broadly, with concern for karma and exploitation. Buddhism allows ART if done with compassion, but warns against embryo destruction. Across traditions, ART reveals a common tension: the desire to embrace technology's potential versus the need to honor life, family, and moral boundaries.